Hi, I'm Kiran Trace. Thanks for joining us today. Today, we're going to crack open some fun things. I'm calling it the special spiritual psychic shit that often is sort of like tagged in to this self-development and authenticity process. So we're going to crack open some of that. Stick with us and let's see where we go. Hi, I'm Kiran Trace. Welcome to Humans Decoded, a story of hobbits, fairies, elves, dwarfs, gnomes, and humans. If you get lost at any point, there is a deep dive on all the different avatars in episode 1. It includes notes. Thank you for joining us in a fun little chat about the vast potential of our human makeup. Hi, Leela. Hi, Cam.
Hi, girls.
Hey.
It's the three of us here in our virtual podcast studio coming at you live around super special spiritual psychic shit.
Oh, I love it. It's like every morning I open my Instagram and there's this marketplace of like all this special spiritual psychic shit screaming at me.
Absolutely. Yep.
And it is, I have to say, it is quite fascinating. So I love that we're cracking it open and looking at it. What is it actually?
Because it's good marketing. It's tantalizing. Is it as juicy as we think?
Well, that's how I got my start. I mean, I went down the fancy, I'm going to be a psychic route. I remember I used to visit this esoteric bookshop in London called Watkins. And I think it's like one of the world's most premier esoteric kind of gathering places. It felt like
London,
visiting,
of all places. Harry Potter birthplace.
Exactly. It literally felt like being in Harry Potter, and there'd be like all these books about aliens and archangels, and I used to get my my tarot cards read there, and it was, oh my gosh, it was like, like being in a candy store. I used to go home with like books and crystals and incense. I mean, it was, pretty exciting.
I made a little note about that bookstore, so just so you know, I want to check it out.
All those bells and whistles and fancies, are, again, they're like really good clickbait, But ultimately, I think they can be a great distraction from facing our own bullshit. It's like instead of looking at the man in the mirror, right? Instead of unpacking my stuff, I'm going to go out here to all that special. And whatever out here is and special, if I just, hang with the special people, if I just learn the special techniques to call archangels in, if I just, if I'm out here doing special things, and there's, capital D, me doing things, is sort of a story of spirituality instead of look at your stuff, look at that not belonging. So common in the not belonging belief system is like, I don't really belong here. Like I don't fit in, this isn't my planet. This isn't my people.
Yeah.
And that's a belief system called not belonging, but it is if we're not going to actually look at it and instead just believe it, it's walking into Watkins and laying a chunk of money there. It's spending an entire year decorating your float for Burning Man. It's doing your 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 20th ayahuasca of the year, whatever, right? Like that's all of it's like, just don't ask me to look at my stuff. I've got it hidden deep under there. And instead,
my secret stash.
Yeah. And then exciting seems to be much more valuable than peace.
I think that's like a sentence we could just repeat in each and every episode and maybe post every day on our social media. That exciting seems to be more valuable than peace, because that's something our various pain bodies, they're such junkies for excitement.
And that's why the Instagram marketplace or the fucking YouTube marketplace, right? It's the social currency is exciting, crap, like instead of peace. Yeah.
And the whole thing reminds me of, back in my yogi days, I read the Yoga Sutras from Patanjali. We can make a little note in the show notes about that, where he says, if you go on this journey towards enlightenment, whatever that means, right? You will come across these superpowers, the psychic, special spiritual shit. But he has a little warning thing in there saying, like, don't stop there. Like, keep going. Don't get too, what is it? Interested in these superpowers, because that's not actually it. The actual it is deeper down. So keep going. And I'm not a big fan of him otherwise, but that one seems quite valuable, because when we do embark on this journey towards authenticity or towards, truth, it can be challenging. It can be challenging not to get sidetracked into the tarot cards. I mean, how many tarot decks do I have at home? How many crystals? I'm such a victim of all this stuff. How embarrassing.
I mean, tell me about it. It's so easy to just end up trapped there. I remember for myself, I had a friend that was getting really into conspiracy theories, and oh my God, it's like going down the rabbit hole, and it's just like more and more information that kind of fuels this sort of quest. And I remember Kiran telling me, like, that's globalizing. That's, you're not safe looking outside into the world instead of looking to yourself. So it's so easy to just like, go on a little detour and kind of just completely lose sight. And, I kind of used to be in that world a little bit myself. And, I still have friends or acquaintances that were, really into conscious dance or maybe into conspiracy theories. And I see them now, and there hasn't really been any evolution for them.
Yeah, I do that too. I see people 10 years later, 12 years later, they're equally excited and equally fascinated about the same thing they were 10, 12, 15 years ago. And they're like, wow, that hasn't worn thin yet.
Yeah, and it's
okay.
And they're sitting inside of the same struggle that they were 10 years ago also.
Yeah, exactly. That same movement instead of looking at their stuff.
And you mentioned before these huge festivals like Burning Man, Kiran, where all the super special spiritual people come together.
Yeah, I think
celebrate.
It's so true, right? We've got these, whether it's like your ayahuasca ceremonies or your Burning Man ceremonies or your, special sacred sites tour or your, the like pilgrimage back to India. To the great sites of India where you're going to feel the presence of the saint, and it's just so easy to just like keep being, on that circuit without actually doing the work, without actually digging into the not belonging, not safe. I've talked about like not safe is the la version is conspiracy theories. And, the righteousness that we really see at like a Burning Man, which is a really very us and them, we get it. We're the in crowd. we're the special, we're the beautiful ones, you know, and it has this like, we're sexier, we're cooler, we're artistic, we're whatever. You know, and there's a real separation. And so that righteousness is the law of injustice. And then, you know, we've talked about the, you know, not worthy has its law. The flip side of not worthy is so special, right? Like I'm just so special. And you can, but it's like, it can be out here where I'm just so special and I'm chasing after, they seem so special and I want to go do this next special thing and I've signed up for this special thing. Like we can keep doing that again and again and again, but also we can just sit, you know, sit for half an hour in silence and watch your own mind be like, I'm a piece of shit. I'm lower than crap. I deserve nothing. And then like 2 seconds later, the thought stream's like, you know, like I'm the most, you know, like I really understand things better than other people do. Like I'm more, you know, like, and you can watch this flip inside of a half an hour. It's your own shit. Like that's your baggage. You know, that's what steals your peace. Not because you're not running with the cool crowd, but because this is the interior monologue. And that's what the Patanjali was pointing to, right? It's deeper in. The work is in, you know. And we, you know, like, it can go very extreme.
Yeah, I think I witnessed one of the most extreme routes one could take there down the rabbit hole of special and out there. It's not in here, not looking at their own stuff. Like I had a partner that got really deep into, well, we called it meditation. I don't think it was actual meditation. It was checking out into, I don't know where, other realms. And he got so fascinated by that. He would spend like hours and hours and hours of a day, even at night, sometimes high on like weed or drugs or whatever. And just, he completely lost touch with the here and now. And he told me even like, I feel like there's this Pandora's box inside of me and I do not want it to open. So he completely ignored it. He tried to get away from it. And ultimately, it led to his suicide. And because of his, I mean, maybe that's cruel to say, but it's true, because of his unwillingness to look at his shit.
Yeah.
And so I think it's really, really, really important on this path, whatever path you're on, that you have guides and teachers that can point out, hey, you're running with your story of special. You're running with your not safe pain body. This isn't actually valuable to go read the Tibetan Book of the Dead for like 700 million hours a day. That's not, you're not going to get to it. Yeah.
I think there's something so beautiful about the process of transforming our pain body stories into much more authentic expressions of ourselves, which is really what this whole podcast is about, and really, you know, what the avatars are about. It's really about like learning to unpack all the baggage on top, which is these belief systems: not worthy, not safe, not good enough. Learning how to see them in yourself and unpack them. And every t-shirt you unpack, or, you know, every like whatever bit that you unpack, there's just this like more space, and more space becomes, you know, very in the space, there's room for connection, there's room for love, and there's room for just the simplicity and ordinariness of being. And that's where the peace is, ironically, not the special. It's in the ordinary. And, you know, being able to just simply, very simple tasks of living, gardening and doing the dishes and, watching your show at night and whatever, cooking dinner. And there's a feeling of space and peace and connectivity. Like that's where the journey is about. And that's available. It's so, so, so available. It's just not so clickbait focused. It's like there's a reason all of us awake teachers don't have reality TV shows. We're so boring. Like it's just like Eckhart folding t-shirts, because everything sparks joy, it's just literally, we spend half the day making meals here at this house, or just painting or just a picnic on the beach. It is not scintillating. It is not clickbait. It is not a big marketing machine behind it. But it is true and it is very, very achievable. And it's here, not in the next ayahuasca trip. Which isn't to say that there's not something there, something valuable there, but it's the difference between chasing that as an addiction versus using it to look inward.
Mm-hmm. I'd say that's kind of how I got my start in, my first taste of consciousness, I think, was actually through an archangel workshop led by a lady who was channeling, I don't know, some kind of alien group like the Palladians. I don't even know what it was. It was all, terribly exciting. And it was in this beautiful mansion in London, and it was just her living room. But there was just this, I don't know, this dropping into what felt like Christ consciousness. And that was the first time I ever got a sense of the unity, it's not separate. And I think that was actually quite pivotal in my journey. And it was, I don't know. And then I met a boyfriend who was into Tai Chi, and he introduced me into Taoism. And so that felt a bit more grounded. And I didn't realize it then, but it was a kind of embodiment because it was mostly focusing on the exercises. But yeah, I definitely traversed through the esoteric for a minute.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. There could be something valuable in each of these places, but it's not don't go. It's not oh, here's a taste of Christ consciousness. So I've got to sign up for next week, and I got to sign up for the week after, and I got to,
Mm-hmm. It's almost like listening to you, Cam. It's oh, fuck, I missed my window of doing all these workshops. Because now there's no way I could still do that because, come on. But back a couple of years ago, I don't know, in my old life, I wasn't super interested in all that. And then later also, not super interested, kind of busy surviving. And now as we're talking, this thing comes to my mind of when I teach and, everybody's deeply embodied, deeply in the moment. There's so much presence. We all get so high on presence. I would often joke that, only beginners, only amateurs take drugs. We don't need drugs. We get high on presence. We're way cooler. No, that would be the story of special. But this simplicity of, hey, the thing you're searching, the thing you want, the thing your heart is longing for, your being is longing for, it is here. It is now. It is in this body. That keeps blowing my mind. It keeps being my most favorite ever It's so beautiful. And I think helpful is also for me, helpful is to not care too much about aliens and angels and all the other beings that might be out there.
That are out there, arguably that are out there. I've met many of them along my journeys. But
True.
I agree with you that it's really helpful not to turn that into a whole external process, but to just let any true interaction, touch the here and now. Like, yes, you may be a starseed, but you're not this moment. In this moment, you're human. You have a human incarnation. Let's focus there. If we're busy focusing on a different incarnation where you were from a different planet, then what's the point? Then it's just not belonging, chasing itself. To just, go on record right here and be like, why are you chasing a different lifetime story?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's infinite fodder out there, like infinite Facebook groups, infinite like workshops where you get to reconnect with your starseed, palladium, whatnot.
And maybe that's a different podcast because, as I like to tell you guys, like, I've met people from other planets in past lifetimes. It's obvious, and they don't look anything like those groups. There's an incredibly ordinary flavor that's very in love with the human experience in a really, really unique way. And that's how you know that, it's one of the telltales anyways, but different story for a different time. I think what you're saying is like, it's really helpful, that pointer from Patanjali about like, keep going. That's, don't get stopped in that place. Move deeper in, let go of the fascination.
It can feel like a security blanket, or like something you hide behind. Like, look at all these special attributes because I don't want to look inside of myself.
You'll see that I'm a fraud. You'll abandon me. It's this terror, actually. If I drop this blanket, I'll be exposed.
And it's so annoying it's annoying that you have to let go of the blankie. It's annoying that you don't get to keep your guard. It's annoying that you...
I know, right? Like, I wish you could just do all clickbait.
I hate it. I do not like it.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, it's what's true.
The good news is what's true is that peace is here. You're built out for it. It's deeper in. But it would be awesome if you could just keep signing up for these. I would love it. Blow my mind with ayahuasca every other weekend. Fuck yeah. I can totally avoid I can tell myself the trip is bringing me to myself.
Yeah. Because in truth, like, keeping my blanket isn't actually, it's not that great, is it? Like, it's stale.
For a lot of people, if I'm like, the goal is this ordinary peace, it's like, I don't want ordinary. Blah. What are you talking about? Well, my ordinary is disgusting. It sucks. It means that nothing's going to change. My suffering's not going to change if you're talking about ordinary. The ordinary sounds like I'm saying like beige, or I'm saying like suburban build-outs. Like the real value is this beige suburban build-out, or interior design that's very beige and marble. It's like, that's not what I want. Like, it's not exciting. It's not unique. It's not interesting. And that's not what I'm saying. That's not what ordinary is at all. But I get it when people hear, like, don't tell me it's going to just, that we're looking for ordinary. Gross. I want some personality. I want some aliveness. I want some juice. I want my suffering to change. I want all of this to change. I don't want to be this person in this life doing any of these things.
However,
it's really sweet.
That's where the actual gold is. Yeah.
It can be really sweet to get to enjoy your own life. And again, ordinary is not beige. It's not suburban. It's not the gross, all neutral with marble, like design of your life. Like it's this incredible sweetness when the aspects of your everyday life are actually alive. And the presence, that Christ presence you're talking about, is there in the making dinner, in the work.
When you were saying how the awakened people on this planet are so boring, they're living such a boring life, it's like, yes, seen from that perspective or seen through the lens of special, it's boring, but inside, it's not boring at all. Like folding your laundry, cleaning the kitchen, as I was sharing last week or whenever in your house. I mean, it's the biggest joy there ever was.
And that's not an artificial, I'm going to turn this and make this joy. It's a spontaneity that comes up under you, but is so completely without drama. It's so completely without the signatures of reaching out for support. Because this you're just flooded with internal supports.
I remember how game-changing it was when I started working with Kiran, and it kind of dropped that this is it, like this life, not a special life later when I have, I don't know, psychic powers or, when I'm awake or whatever the next was. But it was like, you mean here in my house? In my room with dirty laundry and my kitchen and like my job, like me, this one. And I mean, it's kind of ironic that I started out on this journey trying to go out there, like I think spiritual was like, my life is too painful. I want something out there. But then the irony that the homecoming is like exactly where I was already, that's the biggest arrival, the biggest fulfillment, the biggest like joy and privilege and discovery. It happens like with these feet, with these hands, like right here, like, yeah, it's all inbuilt. Like you don't need the aliens so much.
Albeit that they're here. But there is this beautiful thing I get to witness, and I love it so much, this moment that arises in individuals in the community where it's like suddenly this light goes on and it's like, I love my life so much. Like, I love being me. Like, being me is the best thing ever. And it's like, oh my God. And I watch this, it's almost like if I was describing it energetically, it's like this energy just connects from them to the earth, but it's not like an external process we signed up for or workshop. It's the spontaneous flooding, because it's already your energy, and it's like tapping. It's like finding your own taproot, and then it just spills everywhere. It changes everything, but it is such a delight to watch people being so happy and so in love with just being themselves, being that one, it's such a, I can recognize it the second it's coming. And I never bore of that moment when I watch it happen.
Gosh, I've had a client recently tell me that she's in love with herself for the first time in her entire life. She's like 60 whatever years old, and that's it's so touching, it's so gorgeous, it's so beautiful. Yeah,
that's the point.
Yeah,
not so clickbaity, but
no,
much richer.
Although I will say, having arrived in this ordinariness, I am still privy to some special stories. I am not immune. And the one that gets me the most is anytime there's some kind of romance, I just go off. Like this trance takes over. It's got this super, apparent juicy fuel source, and it's
special. It just radiates special shit. There's gonna be some special shit. I'm gonna get something out there. I think that's definitely another future episode. We'll have to do one on bad romance, which is really just romance.
I have to raise my hand as well here. It's so easy to pick it up, a little something, and like love it so much, and then want to put it in my pocket.
I know, and I can feel like it takes courage to even expose it. Like, I don't want to let it go. Like, don't take my story away.
There you go. You don't want to let go of your blankie. No. It's nice.
Yeah, whether it's archangels or, the beautiful star seeds or super high vibrational living or whatever it is, right? That there's some juice there for you. You don't want to let it go. And it's that very don't let it go. It is pointing to the cover up.
There's a little catch up, little episode I want to share from my weekend. I was walking in the mountains in the snow, and sort of out of nowhere, I kind of stumbled upon this glacier. I knew the glacier's there, but I had no idea that you could just walk up to it. And I don't know if you've ever seen that, Decoders, if you've ever been standing sort of in front of a glacier. It's like, tall like a building, like 4 or 5 stories high, maybe more. I have no idea. It's huge. It's massive. Just a wall of ice. And we stood there and was like, what the fuck is that? And then there was this little cave you could walk into. And I was like, what's the word? I was like I was awestruck. Yeah, I was just like, what the fuck? And the whole thing had this energy, this vibration that it was intense. I got super dizzy. I cried hardcore. It was a lot. It was so much. And just really in awe of life, I guess.
And you felt Superman's lair.
And just like walking on this ice and kind of sensing how old it is and all that. And so you can hear, it would be so easy to tell a story about how special this glacier is, how special this moment was, how special this place is. And then maybe go back to it and visit it again and again and again, because, it got me a nice little reset. Like the rest of the day was just pure silence and really cool. But that would be gross. It would actually be gross it would be sort of violating almost the actual moment, the actual glacier experience, to layer my story of this is so special, this is holy, this is sacred. We should, I don't know, make a pilgrimage out of this, blah, 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 blah.
If you start saying all that, you're separating it, right? You're putting a big separation. You're saying this over here, this incredible glacier we stumbled upon, Superman's lair, is special and nothing else is, right? So it's that subtle layer of separation versus this is so beautiful, this is so special, this is amazing. Isn't my life amazing? I could now, I can expect all of life to be amazing. Me, my family, the moment, the silence that came after, right? Like, instead of letting it be inclusive, we separate it. And that's when our belief system, our baggage is filtering and turning it into some super special psychic shit. Nevertheless, what a great weekend. Stumbling upon the lair. And I think I saw pictures too. You went tobogganing, and there's cheese fondue, and there's skiing. Very, very ancient Swiss shit going on there.
I tell you all, I'm uncovering my almost pure Swiss DNA this winter. It's all coming out.
Well, cheese on, girlfriend. Cheese on. We'll meet y'all here next week.
See ya. Bye.
Thanks, Decoders. Bye.
Thank you for listening. We obviously love hearing what you think. Your feedback helps us make a better show for you to listen to. So feel free to comment, and you can do it at Facebook, which is the Humans Decoded podcast. And if you're not on social, you can always email any questions to us at outreach@kirantrace.com. And thanks for listening. We love you.